Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into two really powerful research tools that honestly answer completely different kinds of questions. We're going to figure out when you need to grab a microscope to see all the tiny details and when you really need a telescope to see the big picture. And this single idea right here, it's the key to everything we're talking about today. Knowing when to use a case study versus when to use correlational research, well, it all comes down to matching the right tool to the question you're trying to answer. All right, first up, let's grab that magnifying glass and take a close look at the case study method. This is where we go super deep on one specific thing. So, a case study is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a deep, focused, all-in investigation of one single thing. The whole goal is to understand that one unit in all of its messy, complex glory. A good way to think about it is like this. We're not surveying 1,000 people. Nope. We're putting one person, or maybe one company, or even one school under a research microscope to see every single little detail that makes it tick. We're choosing depth over breadth every time. And because it's so focused, this method is just incredibly valuable in fields where that unique context is, well, it's everything. I mean, think about a psychologist trying to understand a patient's entire life story, or a business analyst trying to figure out exactly why one startup soared while another one crashed and burned. The case study is what gives you that full story. And don't think it's just some random look around. It is a very structured process. You start with your big questions, you figure out how you're going to get the info, through interviews, digging through records, just observing, and then you systematically collect it all, analyze it, and write it all up. Okay, time to switch tools. We're putting down the microscope and picking up a wide-angle lens to look at correlational research. Now we're zooming way out to see the entire landscape. With correlational research, the goal is completely different. We are not looking at one subject in depth anymore. Instead, we're looking across a huge group of subjects to see if there's a relationship or a correlation between two or more different things. The focus here just completely flips. We're not studying one tree anymore, we're looking at the whole forest. The idea is to see if, for example, the amount of rainfall is related to the height of the trees across the entire landscape. We're hunting for patterns. Now, these relationships can go in two main directions. You've got your positive correlation, which is when two things move together. As one goes up, the other goes up. And then you have a negative correlation, where they move in opposite directions. As one goes up, the other goes down. Simple as that. And notice how these questions aren't about why one specific student did well. They're all about finding patterns across hundreds, maybe thousands of students. Is there a general link between high school grades and success in university? That's a classic correlational question. Okay, so now that we've seen both of our tools, let's put them side by side to really make the contrast crystal clear. This is where you can see how they fit totally different research needs. So here it is, the crucial point. A case study gives you this incredibly rich, detailed story, but you can't really generalize its findings. Correlational research, on the other hand, shows you a pattern across a huge group, but, and this is a big one, it can never prove that one thing causes another. This is probably one of the most important rules in all of statistics. Just because ice cream sales and shark attacks both go up in the summer doesn't mean one causes the other. And that really brings us to the main takeaway here. Choosing the right method is all about choosing the right tool for the job you need to do. Are you trying to understand the tiny, intricate details of some rare phenomenon? You need a microscope, a case study. But are you trying to see if a broad pattern exists across an entire population? Well, then you need a telescope, and that's correlational research. So, if correlation can't prove causation, what can? Because that's often the ultimate goal, right? Well, join us for our next explainer, where we're going to dive into the experimental method, the absolute gold standard for testing if A really does cause B. We'll see you then.